Good afternoon, everybody. DJ Styles. Okay, I am almost done. It's looking really good. I have it smoothed out. I did all the smoothing with the naphtha. Uh, I have a couple of little things that I want to fix on here, but they're real. Like there's a little divot inside the. It's a little like a little pocket of like I got to put some. Where is that little hole right in here? It just needs to be filled in a little bit there. And then I'm working on the ears. I started working the ears. Pretty much I have the shape the way I want it. I have it smoothed out the way I want it. There's a little bit of work that has to be done here too. That's all right. I can fix all these little imperfections. When you're smoothing it out with the naphtha, you'll find all the little imperfections that you want to fix. See, now you can see that little dent right in here in the light. Yeah, it's just a little bit of clay that has to go in there. I guess I rubbed it out a little too hard, but this is basically it. This is the back of the head. Now this little thing right here, this is where you want to, this is like a little dimple that you kind of cut in with a sculpting tool. Which one was it? Here it is right here. I'll show you. You know, you go in, that sculpting tool right there. You kind of go into the hole and then just work it around like that. And then you carve that out. And then you put a little cut line into the mask, or into the sculpture. This way, when you go to make your mold, it'll be there. This way, there's no guesswork. You can actually cut that seam in the back. You know, and you always want to end your cut. Like this is the cut. This, you'll be cutting from here all the way up, and then you want to make sure that you cut around that hole, that little dimple there, because that keeps this from tearing. You don't want to. That's the whole purpose of that little round hole, is to keep the cut line from going from tearing. And it's actually the best way you can do these masks. I always found it by putting it right in the sculpture. I also put the hairline in the sculpture. It's kind of funny. You see, I'll just say right here, that's the hairline. I'll do the same thing, only with a real fine line that you can barely see. It'll be right in the sculpture when I'm like done. I have to be completed. In other words, I'm sorry, I'm holding the phone at the same time, so forgive me. I'm turning the mask. I'm working on both ears at the same time, and there are ways from being done. I'll take you through that process. All I did was take worms of clay and then kind of put it on the sculpture and lay it out to where I want the ears to be. I had to measure from the eye right here corner, and I have to bring the top of the ear even with the brow. Right at the top of the eye. Top of the eye, actually, not so much the brow. The top of the eye, it's even with that. And it's all done measured wise. This way your ear holes will line up with your ears inside the mask. You don't want the ear back behind your ear, or so forth. But anyway, basically, there's a lot of measuring that goes into that. You want to make sure that you measure everything. I'll tell you the best thing to use right here. This is how you measure. This is how you position things. You want, how big is the eye? You just squeeze that little needle. I'm back away from the mask, but you see what I'm doing? How big that eye is. You can line up your eyeballs. You want to take this thing and put it right up against your face. Right between, and then make sure that they line up to your eye socket. Your eye, I would say your eyes. And that's how you position it inside the mask. You put them like that, and you position it so you can see. And you can check everything, like checking the tip of the nose to the chin to make sure that that's the same size as yours. Front to back of the head, I always go from the furthest distance, from the nose all the way to the furthest point of the back of the head, to give a true measurement of how deep it is and how much room I'll have in the mask and so forth. But one of these, man, this is what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. A caliper. Yes, caliper. That was hard. We're kind of doing our turkey dinner today. So I've been cooking since 6 o'clock this morning, actually prepping, and I'm getting ready to start cooking now. But yeah, caliper, best tool you can use when you're trying to size everything up. Well, I keep knocking things over. So that's pretty much it. I'm really close to finished here. All I have to do is finish the ears, fix a couple of little details here and there on the mask that I want to or sculpture that I want to perfect. I want it as close to perfect as I can. But this is the process. I did fix this cheek. I didn't say fix it. I just finished it because I didn't want to leave it the way it was. It was too bulged. This part here was too far out. It just didn't look right. So I cut it back. As you can see, it's now sits on that face perfectly. That's the way it's supposed to look. So the nose, I did round out the nose holes more, correct them. I fixed in the shape here on both sides. I had to round this out a little bit more. The lips are done perfect. They're done pretty nicely. The details are there. That's just a shadow from the light. Yeah, it's the overhead light. Okay. There you go. Take that overhead light, take that shadow out so you can see. But yeah. The thing about this mask is the better the lighting, the creepier it is. And you gotta have a lot of down lighting, which I have on it. Right now I have front lighting because I was working. See, I've got this light over here, an LED casting, and I have it on the lowest I can put it. I didn't want it really too bright. I just needed to see some of the details underneath the shadow. Because if I shut that light out, it's all shadow in here, and you can't see when you're working on stuff. So I have to be able to see the undercuts a little bit when I'm working. But that's what I've done. This is the pretty much the finished product once I have the ears done. See how the ears are perfectly lined up? Look at that. One's not higher than the other. As you can see right here, there's one top and there's the other top. And they come in right at the cheek. Yep. That's pretty much dead on. And they're positioned so the ear holes will line up with the person's ear holes inside the mask. So we'll be able to hear pretty good. Anyway, this is it. This is the NightCreeper 1978. That's another thing. I stopped doing the contest. I decided to stay with the NightCreeper name, and I'm going to call it the NightCreeper 78, NightCreeper 81, or 1978, 1981, and the NightCreeper 2018, NightCreeper 2021, and then finally Halloween ends and it's going to be called the NightCreeper 2022. And that's going to be, but I have to wait to see what those masks look like. I know what the upcoming one looks like, but I want to get a little bit more. I thought I got some good detail, but it turns out that wasn't really inaccurate. So I'm going to wait and until they release some real good pictures of the burnt mask with the bullet hole in the cheek. The bullet hole's over here on the cheek, and then it's burnt on one side, and then the hair's burnt on the one side. So I kind of know what it looks like, but I want more details. So once I have the details, then I'll turn this sculpture into the 1978 and the 1981. It's going to be the same mask. I'm only going to age it. Color scheme is going to be a little different, and then it'll be more yellowish. It'll look like the Halloween 2. and I'm going to put foam on the inside of the cheeks. I'll make a smaller version of the mask, and then I'll put foam on the insides of the cheeks so it spreads the mask out when people put the mask on. And what that'll do is it'll give you that same look that you got in the 1981 Halloween 2 version, because Dick Warlock's head was wider than Nick Castle's was in 1978. So, with that being said, 2018, I'll have to, once I make the mold of this, which is one of those down there. Once I make the mold, I'll make the master out of, I'll make one of these in that mold out of rubber, out of a urethane rubber. And once I do that, I knock that mask over. Once I do that, then what I'll do is I can recast that anytime I need to. You only get about 20 pulls of masks out of one of those molds, and then you have to recast. And you need a master to do that, and that is considered a master. It's a master copy, and then you just make your copies from that master copy. You make more molds from that master copy. And that's what I'm going to focus on over this winter, is sculpture, mold, and then I'm going to make the master. And then I'll step to the next mask, which would be the 2018. And because the 1981 is the exact same mask, only aged with color, and hair is a little lighter and matted down. So the 2018, and then I'll do the 2021 if I can get better pictures. And I may have to wait to do the 2022, which I will keep the sculpture until it's available, probably next year. I'll just have to get more. I'll have to get one of these guys again and sculpture from another to work on other masks. I'll have to get a couple of those. These are armatures. I'll get a couple of these armatures, and I'll get some more clay so I can work on other projects. I'm not going to mess with this once I get this done. Too many hours. I think I got about 100 hours wrapped up into this sculpture. I do not plan on re-sculpting again for the Halloween ends. I'm going to stay with this sculpture and work with this sculpture. Sure, when you pull the mold off, there will be a little bit of damage, but barely any. And then what you do is you just fix that little bit, and then you just make it look like the next mask. You know, you age this mask, and then you just progressively, you age this, and you just keep going with the same sculpture. Just makes more sense. That's because it's supposed to all be the same mask anyway, so why not? All right, guys, you guys have a wonderful day, and have a great weekend. Stay safe. Peace.